How did you find your peace? And how can I find mine? So first of all, peace isn't something like your keys or your sunglasses that you lose once and then you find them and then you have them. And assuming that you don't make the same mistake again, you don't lose them again. Peace is something that we actually have to keep choosing, keep working at. It's not like, oh God, I couldn't find the keys, searched everywhere, finally I found them, thank God, now I have them. Problem solved. Peace is something we find, and in that finding, we understand, okay, what did I have to do to find it? What was different about today than yesterday or the day before? But we have to keep walking that path every day. Keep making that choice every day. And so, since the question is personal, how did you find your peace? And then how can I find mine? The you, of course, being me, and then the I being the questioner. For me, it was given to me, really, by grace, in the first experience, standing on the banks of Ganga in an extraordinary moment. 23 years ago when I came to India with a backpack. I hadn't done anything to deserve it. I didn't even know I was looking for it. By grace, it was given to me. And the important piece of this, just for a moment, is the reason I emphasize the fact that I hadn't done anything to deserve it, that I wasn't searching for it, is because a lot of times we think, oh, in order to have grace, I have to be better. I have to not hit that snooze button and make sure I'm going to get up and meditate. I have to be up before 4 a.m. every day. I have to do all my volunteer work. I have to, do this and do that. And those are all great things to do. They keep you very focused on a spiritual path. But they're not what bring grace. And that's an important distinction. They're what ground us on our path. They're what keep cleaning our windshields, our windows of the dust. But it's not what brings grace. Grace doesn't care. Grace doesn't care you got up to meditate or you slept through the snooze button. Grace isn't up there saying you're worthy, you're not worthy, you're good, you're not good. Grace is there for all of us. All grace cares about is that you're open. Grace literally is simply looking for a place into which to flow. And that's an important distinction because, if you want to stay in peace, you want to stay spiritually grounded, you want to keep growing spiritually, evolving, awakening, you've got to do the meditation. You've got to do the sadhana, you've got to do the seva, you've got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, doing the work. But that's not the power of grace. The power of grace is there regardless of what you do. For grace, you literally just have to open yourself. Grace is waiting for you. And so for me, that peace was given to me by grace long before I had a practice. Because, as I said, grace doesn't discriminate. So my lack of deserving it, my lack of sadhana, my lack of knowing anything. There's a beautiful, beautiful line in the prayers we chant every morning that the English of it basically says, I don't have anything. I don't do any sadhana, I don't do any japa, I don't meditate, I don't have any wisdom, I don't give any donations, I don't do anything. I have nothing. And still grace is there. That's why it's grace. Right? I mean, if it was give something, get something, well, then it's not grace. Power of grace is, even you've done nothing, you deserve nothing. You sleep through your meditation time every day. Grace is still there. Whatever time you wake up, grace is there. So that's the power of grace. So that grace flowed into me for no reason other than grace found a crack that was open and large enough into which it flowed. And that's all that grace wants, is for you to be open enough for grace to flow. And then you keep choosing it. And so I found peace because grace gave it to me. But that was 23 years ago. Now, grace, of course, is still there. But as you move through the world, you have to keep choosing that peace. You have to keep choosing to stay open to grace. You have to keep choosing love and joy. And so finding my peace and then continuing to find it, keeping it, actually were two different things. Grace showed me what was possible. Grace showed me the experience of a life that was open, that was connected, that was full, that was whole, that was in light, that was in love, that was peace, that was light, that was love. But that's a choice I have to keep making every hour of every day. You live in a world. Puja Swamiji always says that, the reason that traditionally so many of the young sadhus are sent into the jungles and the forest like he was to live with the snakes and the scorpions is because life is full of snakes and scorpions. And so you learn how to deal with the actual snakes and scorpions in the jungle, so that when you come out of the jungle and you're dealing with the snakes and the scorpions in your day-to-day life, not the ones necessarily, slithering on the ground, could be the one in the office next to you. Could be the guy down the block. Could be the person sitting hundreds of miles away but trying to harm you for no reason other than just their own jealousy or their own ego or their own ignorance, whatever it may be. But you develop that awareness, that training. And so every minute of every day, literally, you have to choose. Experiences happen, things happen in life, every minute of every day, in which we have an opportunity to be angry. You have an opportunity to be hurt. How dare you? Who the hell do you think you are? Don't you know who I am? That was mean. That was obnoxious. That was rude. That wasn't loving. That was hurtful. That was wrong. We have an opportunity every minute. If you're out in the world, always to be able to see. This one's doing that. This one's doing this. This one's doing that. She did that. He did that. Sometimes it's directly to us. Sometimes it's just things that we see. Either way. But you don't have to look very far. Of course, in psychology we say that The only things that bother us in other people are the things in our own selves. So that which bothers you in other people is a very good indicator of the work you need to do inside. So, do you say that, somebody's very materialistic? Well, it means, all right, maybe you've got to work on your own materialism. Do you say someone's very competitive? Interesting. Maybe it means you need to work on some suppressed competitive instincts. So that's looking at it psychologically, but just from the spiritual choice of peace. I have an opportunity all the time to criticize others, to be negative about others. But the problem with that is it pulls me out of peace. You cannot simultaneously be living in peace and pointing fingers at other people. You cannot simultaneously be living in peace and blaming anyone else, judging other people. It just doesn't work. They cannot coexist. Like light and darkness cannot coexist. And so it's a choice. Even if someone is doing something wrong directly to me. Now, it doesn't mean that you become a doormat. It doesn't mean that you literally sit here and let people beat you up just because you're choosing peace. Well, you have to choose peace for yourself also, which means not getting beat up. But in that strength, in that courage, in that holding of the self, you don't lose the self. So for example, if someone is doing something directly to you, directly to hurt you, emotionally, physically, career-wise, however it may be, because people try to hurt us in so many different ways. Absolutely, you protect yourself, but you don't let the mind lose its peace. So the mind doesn't get caught up in, why me? Why do these things always happen to me? This isn't fair. This isn't right. I'm a good person. I do everything nice. Why is everyone against me? That steals your peace. You also don't let the mind get into the, that person is the cause of my problems. If that person weren't so stupid, if that person weren't so arrogant, if that person weren't so much in their ego, if that person weren't so competitive, then everything would be okay. Well, no, it wouldn't, because you'd still have your mind. And if your mind wasn't worried about that one person, it would be worried about something else. The mind is the problem. So every minute you have a choice to choose peace. And so when you ask me, how did I find my peace and keep it? By literally consciously choosing peace. There's a lot I could get upset about every day. Do enough work in the world? Do enough work in India? There's a lot of things that happen. Things that are supposed to happen that don't happen. Things that weren't supposed to happen that do happen. All sorts of things. This is what life is about. But the choice is, do I lose my peace over it? No. Do you do your best to make things right? Yes. Do you have to lose your peace in order to make things right? No. And in fact, if you lose your peace, you can never make things right. That's the illusion. Is somehow by me getting angry, me getting upset, me getting hurt, me being judgmental, me being accusatory, whatever it may be, that somehow that's going to remedy a situation. All it does is throw my peace in the garbage along with whatever the problem that was already happening is. Haven't solved the problem, and now I've thrown my peace away. I've lost the only opportunity that I actually had to solve the problem. Because only when we are in peace can we bring peace to others. Pujya Swamiji has a beautiful beautiful saying. He says, when you are in peace, you share peace, you spread peace, you manifest peace. But when you are in pieces, right? You manifest pieces, you spread pieces, you share pieces. And so even if I didn't create the pieces, even if this is a situation and it's happening and now I'm in it, in the family, in the workplace, in the community, whatever it may be. I didn't create it, but now I'm here. Well, I have two choices. Either I can stand there and blame and criticize, condemn others, judge others, feel upset inside. Why am I always the one who gets thrown into the pieces? That's not fair. I meditated today. Why did the universe throw me in the pieces? Or I can take a moment and really get grounded in my peace. Like really doubly, triply grounded in my peace. So that I can actually bring peace to that moment. Because peace is not just what we speak or what we do. It's the energy we give off. You can't bring peace to a situation just through words. You've got to have the energy that carries the words. And so I choose peace every minute, every moment. Oh, that didn't happen. Okay, let's make it happen. But no, I'm not going to lose my peace over it. That mistake happened. All right, shouldn't have happened. Let's prevent it from happening again. But I'm not going to lose my peace over it. That's already happened. That mistake has already happened. This mistake has already happened. Why take my peace and sacrifice it on the altar of mistakes that have already happened? There's no point. So you choose peace every minute of every day. Someone's throwing pieces at you, throwing anger at you, throwing jealousy at you, throwing competition at you, throwing their own pieces at you. And this happens. It happens in families. It happens in workplaces. It happens in communities. It happens sometimes with strangers in a grocery store or on the freeway. We call it road rage, right? I didn't do anything to that guy. But now he's swearing, flipping you off, shooting you. But we have a choice. We can choose peace. There's no situation outside that absolutely necessitates us throwing away our peace. And so we hold it. And for me, when grace gave it to me, it became the most precious thing I have. And I'm not gonna give it up for anything. Not a missed flight. Not something that didn't work right. Not someone else who's in pieces, who's kind of vomiting their pieces all over me. I'm not going to lose my peace about it. I'm going to become even more peace so that I can share that with others. And that's the same teaching for you when you ask, how do I find my peace? Every time you are about to lose your peace, ask yourself, do I have an alternative? And as I always say, you always have an alternative. In every minute. I don't know if the asker of this question is here, and whether they feel comfortable, if they are here, raising their hand saying, yes, I'm the one who asked that question. Okay, no. Either not here or not comfortable, that's fine. We all have to ask ourselves, what is it that makes me lose my peace? And if you really look within, what you'll think is, for all of us, the first things that make us lose our peace that come to our mind inevitably is going to be the face of one or two people. Could be a family member, could be a boss, could be an employee, could be a colleague, could be the guy next door, could be whoever it is. Or some situation, oh, the traffic. But something's going to pop up in our mind. If I say to you, close your eyes and think about what makes you not peaceful. Could be the numbers on your scale, could be the numbers in your bank account. Whatever it is, something's going to pop up into your mind. Now ask yourself, whatever it is, whether it's an annoying person, whether it's a number that you don't like, is you losing your peace going to help it? Is you losing your peace going to change that person? Is you losing your peace going to make those numbers be any different, or the traffic going to clear away? Of course not. Your peace is all you've got left. Other people are going to do what they're going to do. Be who they are. Vomit up their pieces on you. Traffic is going to do what it does. But our peace is up to us. And so when you make it a priority, it's a beautiful story of a disciple who goes to his guru and he says, I'm not finding God. I'm not experiencing God. I'm doing my practice. I'm doing what you tell me to do, but I'm just not experiencing God, and I really want to experience God. Now the guru's been watching him. He's watching, he gets distracted, he's watching, he's running after, this lady or those cookies or this problem or whatever it is. I mean, the guru's been watching him in the ashram, and he sees how frequently he's getting distracted. So the guru says, come with me. Takes him down to the river, takes him into the river, and he holds his head underwater. Now the guy's first okay for the first few seconds. He thinks some blessing I'm getting. But then he realizes, my God, my guru is actually going to drown me. Like, he's really holding my head under the water. And now the guy is thrashing around, pushing against the guru's hand, but the guru keeps holding his head under the water. At the last minute, before the guy literally passes out due to lack of oxygen, the guru pulls up his hand, and the man comes up out of the water, and he's... I mean, imagine, right? Like you were just drowning in the water. And the guru says to him, so was your mind wandering? The guy's like, what do you mean was my mind wandering? Of course my mind wasn't wandering. And the guru says, so what were you thinking about? He says, I was thinking about oxygen. I was thinking about taking a breath. The guru says, were you thinking about the cookies or the ladies or what was for dinner or this? The guy's like, of course not. I was thinking about breathing. I thought I was going to die. So the guru says, when you want God like you wanted oxygen, only then does it happen. You need to want God like you wanted oxygen. Then it'll happen. So, in the same way, we need to want peace. I mean, ultimately, want God. Choose God, because with the package of God, everything comes. Peace is there, joy is there, awakening is there. But we're not all necessarily there yet in our lives. I have a lot of people who say, I'm not quite there with the whole God thing. I just really want a peaceful, nice life, a joyful life. Okay. That's all right. You can't hurt God's feelings. Don't worry about it. God is there in your peace. God is there in your joy. God is there in your love. But you have to want peace like that. If everything that happens distracts you from peace, you're not going to be in peace. If every random thing someone says or does, or every fluctuation of the stock market or your scale or the traffic pulls you out of your peace, you'll never find it. Imagine yourself as the guy underwater and want peace like you want air if you're drowning. Totally irrelevant what this one said or that one said or this one did or that one did. You know, I need air. And just keep reminding yourself, I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing peace.